Ashley St. Clair offered some insight into exactly this in a post that she made just a few days ago. She said she was a MAGA influencer for about 10 years, being brought in to work with Turning Point USA fresh out of college at just 19 years old.
In 2015-2016, MAGA and their operators realized how important and consequential social media was for politics. This really started during the Obama years when they harnessed the internet and email campaign messaging, and then MAGA took it to the next level with things like Cambridge Analytica and coordinated messaging on sites like Twitter. Their main avenues for this influence are group chats, paid influence campaigns, and parties. Now, for the group chats, they operate with large influencers, particularly on Twitter. That is their primary mode of communication, is Twitter. And they will have these giant group chats that make influencers and individuals feel important because they are in group chats with members of the administration, people on the Trump team, in which they coordinate these messaging tactics. They also have coordinated calls with these campaigns and with these politicians, so you feel that you are important.
So all of this was going on in a very coordinated and deliberate way for the last 10 years. She mentioned Cambridge Analytica, which was a huge scandal when it was broken by a whistleblower, and MAGA heavyweights, namely Steve Bannon, were found to be behind it, but the world moved on. She goes on to explain how the MAGA movement was able to pay influencers to promote a message while bypassing disclosure laws using loopholes.
So they have these Republican operatives, some of which were former White House, who build out these platforms that these right-wing influencers can log onto and see active campaigns and sign up for and get paid for promoting certain messaging, certain initiatives, certain petitions. And this pay is typically, per click. Sometimes it's a flat rate, but it is everything from, hey, tell your audience to call their members of Congress and vote a particular way on this bill, or, have your followers sign this petition, promote this propaganda, XYZ.
And these influencers would be given a script to repeat to their audience, which is why you would often hear not just the same messaging coming from them, but the exact same wording coming from these influencers. There is something to be said also for the fact that repeating the same words over and over again really helps to drive a message into the brains of an audience, again, something that Donald Trump himself knows extremely well. However, while brands seeking to use influencers to promote products or services often employ similar tactics, they're required to disclose that the posts are paid ads. Since MAGA wasn't ever selling a product or service, they were exempt from those disclosures. And we've heard of similar schemes popping up with right-wing and left-wing commentators. And when I say left, I'm not really referring to the more progressive circles, although I'm sure arguments could be made. But the left, the more corporate, centrist, DNC left, seemed to get on board with the strategy later on in the game, but unfortunately for them, left-leaning audiences tend to be less forgiving of these things than right-leaning ones. Anyway, these bigger influencers get their messaging directly from the top, but the messaging trickles down to smaller creators who just opine independently from the larger machine, echoing the same rhetoric, but not getting paid as much, if anything at all.
And again, they also have these group chats with members of the administration and high-up officials that, especially when a scandal or controversy breaks out, all of this messaging is coordinated. Hey, here's how we respond to the files. Here's how we respond to the war. Here is how we respond to everything. So there's this entire ecosystem of large influencers. All of the largest influencers that you have seen in the right wing, 99% of them are paid or compensated or having their back scratched in one way or another. And then this trickles down because the people under them, these smaller influencers, are not aware of this. So when they're looking to these larger accounts in response to controversies or messaging, what they're seeing is actually very coordinated and very sophisticated influence campaigns from the top. There is no free thinking here whatsoever. They are waiting to get marching orders and a direct deposit.